What is going on, guys? Today I will show you how to actually make your own AI newspaper using this N8N agent. It's very nice to do some research and actually get some things for your blog posts or any other type of mediums or spreading news. So yeah, let's get into it. So why should you actually use this AI newspaper? So firstly, you can use it for research, actually getting some data on a certain topic and actually seeing what's important at the moment. Secondly, you can actually use it to see in which order the AI newsletter is being placed. So you can just use that for yourself, for your own for newspaper or for your blog post. And thirdly, it's going to be sent through email, so you can easily send it to a team member or send it to anyone else which can use the data. So like always, I'm going to be starting from scratch. This is the first thing you see. So first, obviously, what we need is a trigger. So I'm just gonna, firstly, I'm gonna name this AI newsletter. And we're gonna first get, like usually, a trigger. And we're gonna start with a manual trigger this time. You can also do like a schedule trigger, which will do it every like 5 minutes, every hour, every day. But first of all, let's just start with a manual trigger. Secondly, what we're going to use is Tavily. So Tavily is a way that extracts data from different websites for you to use it yourself. So if you just click on here on the plus icon, you can just search Tavily. It's right here. And we're going to go with search. So here it is. And if you haven't already, you can make a Tavily account. You can do it here by getting the API key. You can just go to tavily.com and search API key. And then you paste the API key right in here. Once you've done that, we're going to go now to the first one. So we're going to search something. We're going to do research on a certain topic. Let's just say we're going to do Formula 1 news, recent Formula 1 news. And then we're going to do a topic which will be in the news. It will be, we do want a max amount of results, because you don't want endless amount of results. You want to be a bit in control on how much data you're actually going to output. And then we're going to do a time range. So how long has it been ago since this data has been searched for? So let's just do like in a week, like last 7 days. So we don't want too recent, but also not too old. So okay, perfect. So that's done. Next up, we're going to actually make an AI agent. And that AI agent is really cool. So this AI agent can actually plan stuff. So we're just going to go here, AI. I get an AI agent. We're going to define below. And we're going to give it a prompt. And the prompt will be this. So basically the results. It will get a bit clearer later on what I mean by this exactly. So let's just get started a bit further. And we're going to require a certain output. So with that output, we can actually parse it and give it to the next agent, but I'll get to that later. And then I want a system message. So this is the message. You are an expert newsletter planner. You will receive 3 articles for the past week. Job is to come up with a creative and fun, as well as the main topics for this newsletter. So yeah, that's pretty nice. So what it actually does is basically getting the data and plan it on, so we can parse it. So we also actually need a parser. This one, just an example. And then what we actually can do is use for the parser is this one. So this is giving an example for what we're actually going to do. You max 3 items 3. So we don't want it to have an endless amount of data. And then what we want actually is to actually get the data and split it out. So what we have right here is, just to get some data, and then we're going to split it, because we're going to have 3 different type of topics, right? So we get first some data, and then we're going to split it into 3. So yeah, we're just going to do it like output topics. That's it. That's all you need basically for this. And then we're going to do Tavily again. Why? Because first we search the topic, so now the agent knows, what kind of topic we are doing. But secondly, we actually need to do some research on it. So what we're going to do is have this query, this output the topics, so you get the topics, and we're going to give it a time range for a month. so it can actually do the in-depth research. And we're gonna include the raw content. Okay, you can just switch back if I'm going a bit too fast. You can just press the arrow key to the left a bit, and then you can see it again. What we also actually need is for the chat mode, we will need a brain basically. So I just use OpenRouter. OpenRouter is basically saying like, oh, this is the best model for this case. I really like OpenRouter, so I would highly recommend it. You can actually use the Mini for like fast things or a bit that doesn't require that much like this. But if you're going to like video creation or content creation, it's best to do bigger ones. But Mini is usually sufficient. So now what we actually will do is do another AI agent. So we want to do define, and I have this prompt. It's basically what is the topic, it's a JSON query. And then the previous node was the Tavily is going to say, hey, take this and do research from that. Take that research, because that's what we will need. Then we're going to do a system message, and then going to give this prompt. You're basically a professional section writer. Yeah, with all these things. So basically it can give a good article. So article writer. Alright. So yeah, that's done now. And we're also going to give it an OpenRouter. We can basically just use the same as this one, but we can also just click it here. OpenRouter. Perfect. So what we'll do now is actually take this data and we're going to aggregate it. So aggregate the data. But basically it says we're going to take the whole data and just put it into one thing, because that's what we will need in order to make it a nice article. Then we're going to go to AI agent right here. So we're actually going to make the data it got from the aggregate node and then make it nice. Alright, so we're going to actually require specific output format because we want it in a specific way. And I'm going to give it a system message. You can just copy the prompt, and it's going to be a very long prompt. You're an expert newsletter editor. Yeah, as we can said, we want in a cohesive email ready, holistic introduction. So these are the things we will be using. Again, you can just like pause the video and copy and paste it using like a screenshot function, and then put it into ChatGPT or something like that. So that's done. Again, we're going to use an OpenRouter because I really like OpenRouter as the brain. And again, we're going to use a parser to get a certain amount of structured output. And again, I'm going to use this example for the email subject and the newsletter content. And lastly, we're going to use the email to create a draft. We don't really want to send it yet because we don't really know if it's good or not. So I'm just going to put it as a draft. So create a draft, my email, perfect, and we're going to use a subject. We're going to just use the subject that it will give us. And it's going to be in HTML, and the message is going to be the output content that we'll be using. So yeah, let's test it out and see what we got. So as you can see, I've just run the workflow. It just finished, so it will send a draft to my email. As you can see, I just got it. So basically, this is the AI newsletter. You can see it's not very nicely made, but it really depends on what you use it for. In this case, you will use it for research, right? So you can just send it to your team and say like, hey, make something nice out of it. Or you can use it even as inspiration for your own blog post or something of that sort. But it is a nice way of making it, because it goes in, like we said, 3 different type of topics, all in Formula 1, as we said, and it even gives the sources, which is really nice, I think. So to kind of recapitulate what happened, we made a certain execution, a trigger node, which then will activate the Tavily search. It will then go into an AI agent, will get some data on it and articulate it into splitter. So it takes one big data and make it into a lot of things, in this case 3. And then Tavily will do some more research on it, go into an article writer, aggregate the data. So you have a lot of points, 3 go into 1. Then you have the article editor, so it makes like a nice something out of it. And then it will create a draft. I hope this video was useful to you and I hope you have a nice day.